All right, I believe that I'm live. We'll know in a couple seconds here if I am live and in living color. All right, so we'll middle that. We'll share that. Oops, we'll do this here. All right, so it looks like I am live on LinkedIn. But I got an interesting question. Do you need to be passionate about your side hustle? I'll tell you what I believe in just a moment, but according to some people, you have to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about the side hustle, then you won't be successful online. So uh, you won't be successful in your side hustle. So that's something interesting that you've got to think about. I personally don't believe that you have to be passionate about your side hustle. I think that you have to be passionate about being able to solve problems. And if you can be passionate about solving someone's problem, regardless of what it is, you can be successful with your side hustle. For example, my first blog was in security cameras. In fact, I used to write about this is a Ring indoor camera. I used to write about these. I'm not passionate about writing on writing blog posts or making YouTube videos about Ring video cameras. My second blog was about microwaves and stand mixers. I am in no way passionate about microwaves and stand mixers. I am passionate about helping someone solve a problem. My third blog was in sound bars. And once again, I am not passionate about sound bars, but I don't think you need to be passionate for your side hustle to work. I think that if you can figure out your target audience and you help them solve a problem and you become passionate about solving problems, you can be successful with your side hustle. I guarantee you, people that are window washers, a lot of them aren't passionate about washing windows, but they might be passionate about the end result of how the house looks or how the building looks after they got done with their job. How many boyfriends have you had? I am still stuck at zero, but thanks for asking. TikTok's a weird place. People that need attention all gather on TikTok and they beg for the attention. Anyway, let's keep this thing rolling downhill. So here's some tips on finding your passion. I think the best side hustle comes from your interests and hobbies. And basically, what I mean by that is, I was interested in security cameras because people were breaking into houses that were in the process of being built. We had moved into a subdivision where houses were in various stages of being built and finished. And I saw kids going into these houses late at night, early in the morning, and they were taking stuff out. They were stealing. And so I was interested in making sure that our home wasn't next. And so that led me down the path of talking about security cameras, writing a blog about security cameras, starting a YouTube channel about security cameras. Okay. And so I think the best way to get started with a side hustle is to look at your interests and hobbies. What are things that you're interested in? What are things that you could talk about? What are things that you're interested in learning more? And as I've mentioned several times, you don't have to be an expert in anything. You just have to be willing to teach someone something. And if you can teach someone something, if you're one or two steps ahead and you teach them something, you can be successful online. That's really what it comes down to. Let's see, reflecting on your interests, hobbies, and so the difference between interests and hobbies are something that you actively do. Interests are something that you might be thinking about doing down the road. If you have a child, maybe you'll be interested in coaching them, and so you'll be interested in learning soccer drills or basketball drills, whatever it might be. Another way to I think the best way to find a side hustle that works for you is to take a look at what you've done, what you're doing, because that's going to be the easiest transition. Take a look at what you've done, what you're doing, and that will help you. I tell people, if you've got a day job, that's an easy side hustle. Whether you're teaching people about an aspect of your day job without, spilling trade secrets, or you turn it into some sort of digital product, whatever it might be. But look at past experiences, things that you've gone through, things that you've enjoyed doing. Those will help you find your side hustle. If you guys have questions about it, definitely let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. Hey, welcome back. Good standing from yesterday. I appreciate it. You never responded when you reached out and then I said, hey, what's up? And you didn't respond. So if you've got questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. I am streaming live on YouTube, various Facebook groups, LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as TikTok. So if you see me talking to other people, that's because I'm streaming in multiple places. Questions about starting a side hustle. It's actually really simple. Find something that you are interested in. Look at your past work experience. Look at things that you've done, both good and bad, and you can turn those into opportunities. It's not blue paint, it's a light. If you look behind me, it's a light. It's not blue paint. If you look, that's a light, not paint. But the blue light is hella blue, I guess. Anyway, if we continue on, I think another issue that a lot of people run into is they don't have realistic goals for their side hustle. Especially if you start a side hustle online, a lot of people will just automatically shoot for the moon. And then 2 weeks in, when they aren't successful, they give up and they quit and they say nothing works. When in reality, you had unrealistic expectations in the beginning, and that's why you failed. But anybody can find a side hustle. Again, I guess I could just run down. So start with your current employer, start at previous employment, look at hobby skills for yourself, look at hobby skills for your family and friends, things that you just genuinely enjoy talking about can be converted into a side hustle. And, when I talk about side hustle, that can be a YouTube channel, that could be creating content on TikTok, or even starting a Facebook group dedicated to it. So you should always shoot for the moon when hustling. No, that's a terrible idea. In my opinion, that's a really bad idea. Because this is what happens, and I've seen it so many times. People say, I want to make 10K in a month in 90 days. They have never created a piece of content. They don't know how hard it is to create a piece of content. They've never set up a funnel. They don't know their customer. And so saying, hey, I want to make 10K in 90 days, it may take you a month to figure out what you don't know. And by that time, they're ready to give up. So the first 2 weeks, in my experience, working with hundreds of students at this point, probably close to 1,000 students, is a lot of them will come to me after they've been sold the dream of making 10K in 90 days. And then they say, I didn't do it. I felt like a failure. I gave up and quit. What I'm a proponent of is people tricking themselves to keep going to that next goal. So in the very beginning, instead of saying, I want to make 10K in 90 days, I want to get 100 followers or 100 subscribers. That's a goal that you can trick yourself into. Also, making a monetary goal makes it difficult because you start chasing the money. And people that chase the money never get it. They never get it. However, if you start creating content where you are serving or helping other people, the money will naturally flow to you. That's kind of how it goes. If you look at anyone that's really successful, they aren't chasing the money. They're looking for ways to better help someone else, and then ultimately they help themselves. Anyone that's truly successful. But yeah, telling people, hey, I'm going to make 100K in 3 months with eBay is. Are you talking about social media money? It is so watered down anymore. All the clout chasers. Well, I mean, that's what social media is. by definition, social media is in fact chasing virality and chasing basically these books keep falling down. These books right behind me, they've been falling down every 30 seconds. But I mean, that's what social media is. It's fighting for attention with other people. That's literally the definition of it. And everybody reconnect your Facebook. But that, that's literally the definition of social media. People chasing clout, chasing virality. You don't make content to be seen by your uncle, your mother, your brother, your sister, and your wife. You are making content in hopes to be seen by millions of people. Now, you might be talking about an ethical dilemma or a moral dilemma, that you have people that are willing to do and say anything to achieve that clout or that fame that's temporary and fleeting. But I mean, it's funny. I'll make a video on my other channel where I talk about the Chicago Bears, and a guy will say, "No one asked for your input." Well, I mean, it's literally social media. It's the whole point of it. A bunch of random people talking about whatever they want to talk about. So, yes, that's the point of social media. But when it comes to being successful online, I think that you need to have set reasonable goals for yourself. Once you achieve those goals, it'll give you the confidence and motivation, because the people that I work with, they have a lack of confidence. They don't truly believe that you can extract money from the internet. They see people doing it, they hear people talking about it, but there's no belief that they can actually do it. And one of those things that you can do is to create building blocks to help them achieve the success. And one of the ways to create building blocks is to create easily attainable goals, or goals that are easier to attain. Yeah, also too, a lot of people just say, I want to make a lot of money, but that's not a goal that you can attain. If you can set realistic, measurable goals, and then you can reverse engineer, you can work backwards, then you can then you can meet those a little bit easier. Any questions? This is going to be probably a shorter one, because I don't have my other Facebook account set up, or my other YouTube channel. Yeah. Any questions? Measuring progress and celebrating small wins. Yep. As I mentioned, celebrate small wins. Every win's a small win, because for every small win that you achieve, there are millions of people that are envious. There are millions of people that never get there. And so someone says, hey, you only got 3,000 subscribers. Well, there's millions of TikTok accounts and YouTube channels that never got to 3,000 subscribers. So be excited for those little small wins, those little things that some people just never get to. 1,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers is huge, because that means 1,000 people, many of which you've never met, that you don't know, have decided to follow along because they know, like, and trust you enough to want to hear and see more. Let's see. Any questions? So one thing that I'm spending a lot of time talking about is encouraging everybody to look at creating digital products. That's where I think everyone should go. I think that's the next big thing. Digital products. Simply because digital products are easy to make. You can make them for free using Canva. You can create a digital product in a weekend if you wanted to. And it's something that you can improve over time. That's probably the 3 biggest reasons why I like digital products. And you can literally create a digital product about everything or anything. I'm trying to think. Give me some ideas. Give me a niche. Give me a job, and I guarantee you we could create a digital product today for you, whatever your job is. Now, a digital product can be anything from templates to planners to checklists. You can even sell Excel spreadsheets. Those are all examples of digital products that you could create and sell. For example, if you're an accountant, you can create digital products for someone that's an accountant. Someone mentioned the other day interior design. Now you've got to ask yourself, who are you creating who's your target market there? Are you trying to create something for other interior designers, or are you creating something for people that need the help of interior design? First, define your problem and who you want to speak with, and you can go from there. If you need help trying to come up with a digital product idea, you can go over to a website like Etsy and look and see what's already on the marketplace and ask yourself how you can improve what's already there. Now, of course, you don't want to copy or steal from other people. You just want to improve what's already happening, what's already out there. You can look at your last 5 jobs. My last job was a software developer. You can create, if I were a software developer, maybe I create Python scripts to make AI a little bit easier. Or if I know about Node, which is a development language, I create something to make Node a little bit easier, to understand. Before that, I worked in higher education. I could create a blueprint for people that are just getting into higher education. I work primarily with adults returning back to school. Any questions? Any questions, comments, concerns? What are your thoughts about, do you need to be passionate about your side hustle? Because I don't believe that you need to be passionate about it. I think passion's a little bit overrated. If you can find a way to solve a problem, you can find a way to serve someone, I think that's more important than passion. Can you get paid from product reviews? Yes, of course. You can get paid through affiliate marketing. So what you can do, and I think we talked about this before, Zoe, what I'd recommend that you do is create a series of 5 videos about about that product or service that you're creating content. And the reason why, and the reason why I think this works is, let's say you have a YouTube channel and you create 5 videos about this thing. It helps position you as the subject matter expert. So if I created an unboxing video, I create an actual review where I'm talking about the benefits of this product. This is a Ring indoor camera. I compare it to others that are in the market. For example, like Blink has a indoor version. Waze, which I used to have one over here, has an indoor version. When I compare the two, that positions me as an expert. Also, when people are typing the name of the product, they see your videos come up multiple times. Again, that positions you as the expert. I also think that if you use the same keywords multiple times on your YouTube channel, I think YouTube takes notice of that, and you can start ranking for that keyword or keywords plural. So I think those things help. But yeah, definitely do product reviews. And I think product reviews are even easier to do now with AI than they were, 4 years ago. What about an article on it? I would try and target newer products, but yeah, you could write a blog post on it. What I would do, Zoe, is I would write a blog article. How do you increase watch time? How do you create watch time hours on YouTube? I have 2,300 subscribers. So I actually made a video about this for my membership group. What you have to do is you have to open and close loops. And the best way for me to describe this is with Moana. And if you've ever been on one of my live streams, I'll talk about Moana a lot. You would write an article on a product. So I'll answer that in a second, but let me tell you how Disney princesses can tell you everything that you need to know about marketing on the internet. So every Disney princess movie is the exact same. And once you realize they're the exact same, you'll know what's going to happen. You'll see it coming. Okay. So Moana, for example, I'm going to paint you the story and I'm going to point out when the loops open and close. So Moana is a princess. She doesn't want to be called a princess. She's a princess and she's from the island. She is a baby, and in the very beginning, she's having fun as a little baby Moana, and she gets over to the ocean, and the ocean starts to kind of like mess with her, and the ocean wants to give her a rock. That's the opening of a loop. You're trying to figure out why this rock is so important and why the ocean is so important. Okay, so that's the opening number one. That's the opening of a loop. Okay, so as she gets older, they cut to another sequence of her singing and dancing, but she has this thing calling her, and that thing that's calling her is the ocean. And her dad is steadfast against her going. No one leaves. No one leaves the island. Okay, and she keeps trying to get to the ocean. Her dad keeps pulling her back. She has a feeling that she's got to get to the ocean. She doesn't know why, but she's got to get to the ocean. This loop is still open. Her grandma shows her that they used to be travelers. They used to go from place to place to place. However, her dad's best friend died. So that's closing the loop. You now know why the dad doesn't want anyone to go to the ocean, because he had a terrible experience. However, then another loop opens where um, the island starts dying. Okay. And the only way to prevent the island from dying is that she's got to take this rock back. It's the heart of Te Fiti. She's got to take it back to Te Fiti. So these are loops that are opening and closing. Now you're thinking, how is she going to get this heart back to Te Fiti? The thing that finally pushes her over the edge is her grandma dies. Spoiler alert to everyone that has not seen Moana yet. Her grandma dies. So at that time, she decides that she's got to. Someone tells her that the only person that can help her is Maui, but Maui is stuck. So now another loop opens. She's got multiple loops. She's got to go get Maui and convince him to go to Te Fiti in order to restore the heart. But Maui's got his own things going on. He's got opening and closing loops. Now, again, if you watch Moana or The Little Mermaid or any Disney princess movie, that's the only thing that this is. These are opening and closing loops. Okay. That's really all of this is. So let me just keep going. So she gets Maui, convinces him to go back to the heart Te Fiti to restore the heart. Before they go, they've got to go get the hook, Maui's hook. It makes him invincible. They have to come up with a plan, opening a loop to go down to the bottom of the ocean, get this big crab, take the hook from him. But another problem opens up. Maui is no longer Maui with his hook. His hook isn't working. And so now they spend 10 minutes trying to get this hook working, and they close the loop. So hopefully you're able to see, I'm probably not doing a great job explaining this, but Moana is like YouTube. That's where we start with YouTube. You need to open and close loops to keep people watching longer. With YouTube, it's all about watch time. You need to keep people watching longer, and the best way to keep people watching longer is by opening and closing loops. So what you can do is you can start off with a sentence, with a question. I think I was going to do a video about the new FTC guidelines. So I could start off a video saying something like, "Hey, did you know that your affiliate earnings are in risk with these new FTC guidelines?" Anyone that's an affiliate marketer might be concerned because I'm telling them that their earnings are at risk. So that's my introduction. I go through my spiel. I need to figure out a way to keep them longer. So maybe I close this loop. Hey, in this video, I'm going to reveal 10 new guidelines that the FTC just enacted. And number 3, the third guideline, is the one that could have the greatest impact on your commission. So I close that loop telling you that there are 10 new guidelines that the FTC is going to reveal. However, I opened a new loop saying number 3, this third one, is the most important. And so now the YouTuber, the viewer needs to hang on for that until they hear number 3. So you go through and you talk about the new FTC guidelines. You get to number 3 and you say, well, number 3, you got to disclose that you are an affiliate if you don't want to be sued. And then you've closed that loop. But then you might open it up and say, here's how much money, here's how the FTC bankrupted one of the leading affiliates in the world. Now, make sure this stuff is true. But what you need to do, long story short, you're just opening and closing loops. If you can figure out a way to integrate your opening and closing of loops in your content in general, can you answer my question? I'll answer your question when I'm done with this other one. If you can figure out a way to open and close loops in any content, you'll do very well. A video that I uploaded to TikTok 2 days ago, yesterday, was how putting aluminum foil in a microwave helped me make 6 figures. That's a heck of a loop. That's I opened this huge loop up because people wouldn't think, hey, there's no way that aluminum foil in a microwave can equal 6 figures. But I mean, I opened up, that's a hook, but it's also it's a opening of a loop. And so now people have to hang around and listen to this story to figure out how this was possible. And at the end of the video, I basically said, I started a blog, and one of the blog questions that I answered was, can you put aluminum foil in the microwave? I put that at the very end of the video. And I said, that blog post by itself got about 200 views per month. In the middle of this video and you can go watch it for yourself. In the middle of the video, I say, you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of the person behind you. And if you can do that, you can be really successful online. And I think those are my exact words, actually. But if you want to be successful online, you have to realize, especially with video content, you have to realize how you can open and close loops. That's how you keep people hanging on. So that was a long way around, but open and close loops, either visually or, with your words. What other questions are out there? If I missed your question, just ask it again, and I'll try and get it to it this time. Let's see, 7:50, 30 minutes. Good job. I'm happy for you. I was talking about product reviews. So what I would do is, if you're going to start a blog, I'd write a blog post about the 50 best indoor security cameras. And then I would see which one of those 50 ranks on Google. And then rank the keyword ranks. And then what I would do is I'd write a separate blog post about that security camera. And then I would interlink it. So if I wrote a blog post about the 50 best indoor security cameras of 2023, and let's say the Ring video doorbell ranks, I write a separate blog post about the Ring indoor camera review, and then I link it between the 2 blog posts. That's what I would do. And that's what works out really well. Interlinking. And you'll receive link juice, is I think the official term. You'll receive some link juice by interlinking. And it helps you build authority. But that's how I would go about it. And you can do that with anything. The 25 best web hosting companies of 2023. Yeah, that's the only way I would interlink between your own post. I mean, you can link out to other blogging sites, but if you're writing an article, if you wrote an article about the 25 best indoor security cameras, and then you wrote a separate article about this security camera, I would definitely interlink them. Link them together. So, number 8, Ring indoor camera. Then I would just put a link to that indoor camera review somewhere, especially if it ranks. Any other questions? Any other questions? So my favorite side hustles are online side hustles, simply because I don't have to go anywhere. How long does it take to rank a site? I think that depends on what you're doing. If you're just writing blog posts, it can take 3 to 6 months. If you are trying to write on competitive keywords, it's going to take you a year or never. If you are writing on low competition keywords and you're using other things to help it, like Pinterest pins, it can take less time. What I tell all my students, if you're going to write a blog post, make sure that you have 10 Pinterest pins linking back to that one blog post. It'll help accelerate it, because Pinterest pins can rank on Google, and they'll rank much faster because the website has a higher, stronger domain authority. But if you write on low competition keywords and you are doing the Pinterest pin strategy, it can work out pretty well. And then another benefit is if you make a YouTube video and embed that YouTube video right onto the blog post. Those are all things that are going to help. All things that can help. If I have about 50 videos on my niche and if I have about 50 videos on my niche and I made about, that's actually pretty good, because 50 videos isn't that much. Is it there to rank on first page Pinterest pins? Is it hard? If I make 500 videos, I should make it. Well, hopefully 500 videos will make more than that, but that's a good threshold to shoot for. I mean, I don't know how hard. It's all about keywords. Pinterest ranks on the first page of Google for all sorts of stuff. If you target the right keywords, if you find the right keywords and you create a Pinterest pin, it can rank on the first page of Google. But that's good though. You're making some commissions. 50 videos, $100. It's all about consistency and persistence. What's your favorite side hustle? I've done a lot. I liked building WordPress websites, but I hated dealing with the customer service. I like blogging, but it takes too long to rank. It took me too long to rank. YouTube is cool. It's a tough nut to crack. TikTok is okay. TikTok is fine. My first account had almost 50,000 followers before it got shut down. How long did it take you to make websites? So for my 5-page WordPress websites, when I first got started, it would take me like 3 days. But once you've done 5 or so, it'll take you like 15. It'll take you like 3 hours. And so I was charging people anywhere between $300 and $3,000, and it would take me about 3 hours of work. But the problem with that, do you code? No. Well, I do code. I used to code, but for WordPress, no. I would just go to ThemeForest. I would search the type of company or business I was working with. I would download a premium WordPress theme and I would install it, make a couple changes, and away you go. Are you building backlinks to your videos? No, I don't. Let's see. How long did it take you to make websites? Yeah, I could get them done in like 3 hours, but then it was going back and forth with customers who had unrealistic expectations for what they were paying for. Would you say website building is still Yes, I think website building is very profitable, because there's always, once again, with a small business, they don't have the time or the want to build out websites. And so if they can hire somebody to do it for them, and that's one less thing they have to worry about, it can be very profitable. What you also need to do is you need to build in some reoccurring income on the back end. So charge them $50 a month for maintenance, for keeping the website up to date. and you can go in there a couple times per month, update the WordPress theme and plugins, and you've got an extra $50 reoccurring. Also think about adding value-added services. The only thing I didn't like about WordPress websites is you got to go out and find a new customer every month. That was the pain. That was the problem. How did you get customers? Did you reach out? Yes, I did a few things. I had these postcards made. I had oversized postcards made, and I sent them out to all the businesses within like 5 miles. And I went to the local library. I have a YouTube video on this, by the way, if you want to learn exactly what I did step by step. So here's the postcard. Make sure I don't show my address. So here's the postcard that I used. And I sent it out to all of the businesses within a few miles. And then I called. I followed up with a phone call. And I also used a software. I used a website called Thumbtack. Yeah, I made that postcard with Vistaprint. And I just did a mail merge once I had the addresses. And sent them out, got some phone calls back, made some phone calls to follow up with people. I even walked in some places. Yeah, blogging income is very long. It gets frustrating. It can get frustrating, especially if you're doing all the writing yourself. It can feel like an uphill battle. So what I did is I went to my local library and I said, hey, do you know how I can get a list of businesses? And the lady said, I'll do you one better. Here's a website that you can go to get every business in the United States, 85 million businesses. You can get their address, you can get their websites, everything you need. And so I took that information, I made postcards, mailed them out, made phone calls, and I got a few clients. Like I said, it's a cool little job. However, you're making another job for yourself. So that I wasn't thrilled about that. That was the exact opposite of passive income. It was very much active income, simply because if you weren't doing it, you're not getting paid for it. Make sure I don't have any questions over here. Let's look at the chat. Didn't look at anything. At least you had some money coming in. Yeah, that's true. Very much active income. But what you can do, one way around that is you can make YouTube videos, you can make TikTok videos showing people the process of building out websites using WordPress. And then you can say, hey, look, if you don't have the time, the energy, or the want to, reach out to me and I'll build your WordPress website. And that way you can have clients coming to you, because there's so many people that are Googling or YouTubing how to do X on WordPress, like maybe how to change the header, how to change the theme on WordPress. And those people are frustrated. They're at their wits' end, especially small business owners that are trying to do everything themselves. You can take that one thing off their plate, and they'll pay you for it. So what I would do is I would create YouTube videos, TikTok videos, teaching people about WordPress. Yeah, I built my sites myself. That makes you in like the top 1% when it comes to, WordPress is a skill, because a lot of people don't know how to do it. It frustrates the heck out of them. And, they've had bad experiences with it. Everything's a skill. Everything's a skill. And that's the cool thing with the internet, is everything's a skill. You can teach it, you can monetize it, because there's somebody right now that has never heard of WordPress before. Even worse, there's somebody right now that's heard of WordPress and would rather throw their computer out the window than to look at another WordPress back office. Literally everything's a skill. A skill that can be monetized. Any other questions today? And that's the cool thing with the internet. You don't have to be an expert. I certainly wasn't an expert. You just have to be a couple steps ahead of somebody else. Because that person that's 2 steps behind you is going to look at you like an expert. What's my next video going to be on? My next YouTube video is actually going to be on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. My video after that will be on the new FTC guidelines for influencers and affiliate marketers. So that'll be Friday and Saturday videos. I don't upload on Sunday, so I'll have to come up with something for Monday. But yeah. Tomorrow will be old Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And if you understand what's really going on with that, you can be really successful. How long ago did I build websites? Ooh, I don't know. Pre-pandemic, I believe. Yes, I'm pretty sure it was pre-pandemic. And I made $300 on my first one because I was underbidding. Because like you, I didn't realize that WordPress was a skill that you could monetize. However, once you realize that people are frustrated, tired, and ready to give up with WordPress, and they'll pay you anything to end their frustration, you quickly realize that you can charge more and more for it. And if you realize that, well, didn't know that. Yeah. It's been a while since I did that. But yeah, and people will pay you if you can figure out a way to end their frustration. All right. Any other questions for me today? You are a smart marketer. No, I've just failed a lot. I have successfully failed to where I am. And I've learned from my failures and I've adapted. And I've been very consistent and persistent. I'm probably one of the most consistent people you ever meet. And I think that's the biggest difference between successful people and people that aren't successful. They're consistent and persistent. If I tell you I'm going to be somewhere at 9:30, I show up at 9:15. In fact, if I tell you I'm going to be somewhere at 9:30, I am anxious that I'm not there. Yeah, you have to fail to be successful. I'll be anxious until I get where I'm supposed to be at 9:30 or 9:15. All right. Any other questions for me today? If there aren't any other questions, I am going to go to bed because it is late. It's 8 o'clock here. It's past my bedtime. You guys have a great night, and we will talk soon.